the LA Times, one of America's great iconic newspapers, caved into woke losers. I'm not shocked by this. You're not shocked by this. Nobody's shocked by this. And corrected their article headline about Dijonay. She's a spice. Carrington poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, regardless if you believe the eye poke was intentional or not. What happened to journalists and media? Well, standing by their stories and, of course, their opinions. Furthermore, can we stop trying to cancel people because we disagree with their opinions? Man, although I will say this, is it even possible to cancel anyone anymore? Like, Pat McAfee is a genius. He said to me, if we got arrested one time for doing something, which I wasn't doing, he was as I was driving the car, he said it would be good for our brand. Pat McAfee's a genius. Now, he is. Probably be good for our brand. I don't know. Carrington has spent the past several months mocking and smearing Clark. The Los Angeles Times provided that context with the following headline. Caitlin Clark suffers black eye. It was caused by a player who mocked and called her out. Well, that seems pretty easy. That seems very easy. But, of course, the normal suspects take issue with this because the normal suspects, I don't know why we ever give Sarah Spain any credence at all, but we do on this show. Apparently, people had a hard time with that. Now, I'm going to read that again. Caitlin Clark suffers black eye. Caused by player who mocked and called her out in June. That's right. That's accurate. Dijon the Spice Carrington called Caitlin Clark out in June. Mocked her in June and other times. Now, you got to remember, and only in the WNBA. Only. It's the only league, maybe not, but it's the only league that I know of, where Dijon the Spice Carrington is engaged to the power forward on the Indiana Fever, Niza, whatever the hell her name is, Smith, Jones, whatever the hell her name is. I think it's Smith. They're engaged, and they're competing against each other in the WNBA playoffs. Now, let me say that again. They're engaged. Now, Dakich, you're being sick. No, I'm making fun of it. What? We can't make fun of things? It's the only league. Hey, man, Patrick Mahomes, he got a thing for Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, man, it's the wackiest league ever. Oh, and it's beautiful. It's glorious. You want to know, and again, this is me being sexist, I'm sure, but you want to know why the WNBA never really resonated with anybody until Caitlin Clark came along? That's why. Or no, that's not why. That's one of the reasons why. We're like, what are you doing? You know what? Go do your thing. Because we're used to deportes, a.k.a. sports, being not like that. We're used to fierce competitors not being engaged to one another while they compete against one another. It's a weird world. Sarah Spain chimes in. Let's hear from Sarah Spain, because it wouldn't be a day without Sarah Spain chiming in on something stupid. If I worked at the Times, I'd be emailing about the people who wrote and approved this headline. If those people aren't willing to put their names behind it, accusing Carrington of intentionally poking Clark in the eye, it's because they know it's flat out wrong. Well, wait a second. I don't see the word intentional here. It's implied. Everything is implied with the angry. If they can't make the case, they got to go to but Trump or it's implied. It's not implied. Let me see. Caitlin Clark suffers black eye. It was caused by player who mocked and called her out in June. It's absolutely accurate. It was caused by the Spice, Dijonay, Carrington, poking her in the eye. It wasn't caused by Caitlin Clark poking her in the eye. And, in fact, well, guess what? She did mock her. She did call her out in June. See, here's the thing. People like Sarah Spain and others, they have to do this. They must. They have been the recipient of so much nonsensical headlines, so many nonsensical headlines that they feel like they can dictate the headline. I mean, the whole George Floyd thing was a ridiculous headline. But boy, did the woke get after it. Oh, man, did the woke go crazy. And that's what they want. They want to control the deal. So Mariah Catherine, hi, Mariah. Hi, I'm married to a girl. You know my pronouns. LA Times and ESPN narratives are so dangerous. Oh, it's dangerous. Inflammatory, rooted in racial rage bait. Oh, yeah. Actual CC and Fever fans do not care. But LAT posts this. Haters flee to it. And then CC is the face of racism again for simply being the victim of an uncalled basketball foul. How is it racist? I don't know if she did it on purpose. How is it racist? Like, you can't criticize anybody that is a woman, African-American, 18 to 25-year-old. You can't criticize. White, black, kids. Everybody's a kid. I'm going to read you something that was posted on my Facebook page. But this lady, because I guess she's married to a woman, gets to decide, you know what? Hey, all right. LA Times and ESPN's so dangerous. They're dangerous. Everything's dangerous. Oh, it's dangerous. You don't understand how dangerous a headline that is actually true could possibly be. Are these people nuts? Yes, they are. I mean, they're completely insane. They've had it their way during the whole pandemic, George Floyd thing, and they think that their way was actually a way we're supposed to care about. I don't care about it. I laugh at it. So anyway, let's go to it. It's always dangerous. It's always, but Trump and dangerous. Oh, look at Zachy. Zachy, hi, Zachy. Hi. Look at Zach. Oh, fangirl. I can see where this article was written by whatever. He appears to focus on negative stories that relates to black WNBA players. What? I hope the league looks at how pushing this narrative puts black players at risk. At risk. It's always at risk. We are at risk. We can poke you in the eye. It looks to me, LA fangirl, I don't know, maybe I'm just nuts, that the one at risk was Caitlin Clark. She got poked in the eye by some woman that has nails this long because, well, that's what we do. It's amazing to me, astounding to me that we are this stupid. But, see, here's the deal. Again, LA fangirl, she got to get her panties in a bunch back in the George Floyd era, back in the Me Too, back in all of this nonsense, and people actually listened to this stupidity. And they reacted to this stupidity. Hell, I got in trouble for not going swimming with a woman that wanted to, quote, go at it with me in a pool. I've said it a million times. Amazing world. This is disgusting and dangerous journalism. Really? Let me see if I understand this. Caitlin Clark suffered black eye. True. It was caused by a player who mocked and called her out in June. True. True. Why is guys like this Zach guy so racist? You never say shit like this about men's sports. Stop babying women, especially Caitlin, grown woman. Cover women's sports the way we cover men's sports. Well, that's what they're doing. And you don't like it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Nobody. The LA fangirl doesn't like it. Usually in men's sports, well, before George Floyd, but before Me Too and all the woke silliness, men's sports were covered exactly how they were. Guy knocks a guy out. Malone cheap shots Isaiah. That was a headline. I mean, what do you want me to do? But you guys can't handle it. You guys absolutely can't handle it. The women can't handle it. They want to be big time. Women's sports wants to grow, but women like Sarah Spain bring it back because what are you supposed to do? Do you really think, and again, look, the LA Times, I'm sure they gave in. I'm sure that the writer's a bad guy. The person that wrote the headline's a horrible human being for stating the obvious and the honest. Well, you don't have to state it like that. I mean, hey, look, you want to be in sports or don't you? You want to be a big-time player. You know, people on this network, OutKick, have said for a long time, the WNBA, they aren't serious people. It's not a serious league. I've never really aspired to that, but I'm watching all this crap. If you're going to whine, bitch, and moan about an honest headline about a sport, hey, if they'd have said she did it on purpose, if they'd have said, you know, she did it on purpose with a vendetta, okay, I get it. You can't tell intent. I don't think it was on purpose, personally. But the truth of the matter is this. The truth of the matter is you're not serious people. If everything is but Trump, everything is dangerous, shut up. Oh, I got a headache. As expected, the LA Times caved. The outlet quickly massaged the headline. Caitlin Clark suffers black eye, says it was no excuse for her rough playoff debate. Yet the likes of Sarah Spain demand journalists cover Carrington jammer and finger into the eye as if they were complete strangers. Look, honest to God, if you are on the right side or you are on the same side as Sarah Spain, you're an idiot. I mean, I've seen this woman. I could not believe what I saw when I saw her at the 1985 Bears thing. She looked just ridiculous. And it isn't about fashion. It's about respect. Just ridiculous. So I'm done with that. And let's talk about the truth. Why can't you print the truth? Why is that so difficult? And why would the LA Times cater to anybody? Why would the LA Times say, oh, my God, people are mad, we got to cater? I mean, you're not making any money anyway. People are going to your website. That's the only thing you got. The print media is down the tubes. You got really nobody working there. People that are working there are working for pennies on a dollar. No one respects you. So why don't you stand up? That's what newspapers did back in the day. They stood up. They reported. They researched. They investigated. Not out of spite, but out of just this is what we are. We are reporters. We report. We're journalists. We journal. But now we're woke outlets for crazy people. God bless you. Hey, no hair off my back, which now that I'm on testosterone, there's a lot of. You do you. But how ridiculous is it? Oh, boy, Ucha Capesta, my eyes are burning. Hey, Todd McShay should shut up. No, seriously. Todd McShay has a punchable face, and he should shut up. He has Travis Kelce in his crosshairs, claiming the star tight end is off to a poor start because he's out of shape, been partying off season with Taylor Swift, while Mike Francesca is questioning his dedication to football. Now, the combined days coaching and being in locker rooms for anything other than to ask a question, get an autograph, or look at a schlong is zero between these two guys. Zero. Nada. None. Zero. None. But yet they understand. They understand the psyche and what's going on with Travis Kelce. Here's what I'll say about Travis Kelce. As the coach in me would be like, hey, yo, I got to figure this out. Is it the routes? Is it the defense? What is it? And if it isn't, I got to go, yo, Kelce, let's get this figured out. Is it partying and whatever? But I don't need Mike Francesa, or I don't need punchable face Todd McShay, wherever the hell he is now, to tell us anything. But we'll listen because, hey, we got a show. Here's McShay.
Are we not allowed to say that he's out of shape, that he's been partying all offseason? He's been jet-setting around with the most famous person probably in the entire world. The coverage and the respect he gets is the same. The athlete is not. Now, is he going to work himself into shape during the season? Yeah, I'm sure he will. He's an unbelievable competitor. He's one of the best to ever do it, but he's not the same guy right now. I'm not blaming it on Taylor Swift. I'm not blaming anything. All I'm saying is when you win 2 Super Bowls, you've got the whole tour that happens after the Super Bowl. There's no one else doing more commercials, I don't think, in the league. I mean, he and Mahomes are up there, but I think Kelce's doing more commercials and things. He's been at more events, doing more things socially. It's impossible to carry that schedule and still put in the same amount of time for football.
Yeah, okay. Does he know that, or is he just saying that? You know what I mean? I know little information guy we got to listen to. That's fine. But does he know that? I mean, a lot of guys get off to slow starts. In fact, the Colts intentionally a couple years ago lightened the load on Jonathan Taylor so he'd be strong at the end of the season. In fact, they did it the other day. I don't know. And neither does he. As an organization, Mike Francesa says, as a coach, you'd have to question how dedicated Kelce is to the sport right now. Well, you do if there's reason to. And now here's the difference between being Mike Francesa, me, all right, you do absolutely if there is reason to. These things don't happen in a bubble. It's not like he got off to this bad start or whatever start he is, and it didn't happen without them having training camp and them seeing Kelce or seeing how he's being defended or studying film. But it's easy to sit here and say this stuff because, well, while Francesa doesn't know his ass from third base from actually doing, he is buddies with Parcells. He's buddies with Belichick. I remember when they all came to Bloomington, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And next thing you know, he was on the coverage for the NCAA tournament. I'm like, what the hell is this? He was a moron when we were hanging out. He was like, what? Anyway, long story short, He's getting this from elsewhere. See, this is what bothers me a little bit. I have a hard time saying a guy's in shape unless I absolutely know. Does Francesa know? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, the Chiefs do. They do. As an organization, as a coach, you'd have to question how dedicated Kelce is to the sport right now. Well, not you would question that in the offseason, and you saw him in training camp. Got a lot going on. Taking a radical change, commercials. See him in photo ops. You see him now very conscious of how he's dressed. Oh, my God, can you believe it? And where the paparazzi are and everything else. And you wonder where football and football preparation end into that. No, that's what he wonders. You know, the Chiefs know. As I said, the Chiefs have a baseline. You don't. Yeah, the baseline on Kelce nationally is he's always been very good. Okay. He's always been very good. Struggled to start the season. I think I remember this last year. Could be wrong. Kelce has 8 catches through 3 games, 69 yards, no touchdowns, 1 shitty haircut, and 1 annoying pop star girlfriend. Now that's funny. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is really, really funny. He has 8 receptions, 3 games, 69 yards, no touchdowns, 3 games. 1 shitty haircut. See, I'm not the guy to talk about shitty haircuts. I'm just Ron Burgundy. Nick and Nick put that in, and I talk about it. And 1 annoying pop star girlfriend. I can get down with that. The haircut is odd to me. I'm not mad at it. It's a little bit 70s, Dan Tana, maybe a little Tom Selleck. Looks good with a bourbon and a cigar. Not bad. I'm not mad at him. And if you're mad at him, But isn't it amazing how everybody used to be upset about the quarterback? Quarterback's not doing this. Quarterback's not doing that. Now we worry about the tight end. And let's be honest here. Let's just be honest. The Kansas City Chiefs have morphed into the New England Patriots of Belichick and Brady. Not a damn thing matters until the playoffs. Let's just be honest. Nobody can. Well, you got to get to the playoffs, Doc. It's but Trump. What? Where'd the but Trump come from? No. Anyway, it doesn't matter at all. 0. It's just something to talk about. The Chiefs, 3-0, playing well. That's all they should be concerned about. If Kelce's a bit player, maybe it's age, maybe it's injury, maybe he's beat up. If Kelce's a bit player now, will we really give a rat's ass once the playoffs come? The answer, no. And nor should we. Of course we should. Only thing that matters, playoffs. Only thing anybody cares about, Super Bowl in Kansas City. That's it. Oh, man, I can get down with this now. I can get down with Reggie Bush. This is reparations, and I want some. Now I want some. I've said forever, not one single NCAA football or basketball player has had anything to do, the current ones, the current football and basketball players have had a damn thing to do with anything NIL related. Now, let me back up. Let me make it, that was dumb. Not one current NCAA football or basketball player has anything to do with the money made by schools right now. These TV contracts, radio deals, sponsorships signed years ago. So when I hear mommies and daddies, the backs of my son, you're getting it off the backs of my son. Is that right? Now, the current TV deal with ESPN, the Big Ten deal, that was signed about 4 years ago. It didn't matter whether your son was there or not. Maybe 6 years ago. Didn't matter. But that's what we get. But I'll tell you who it is. It is on the backs of people that came before them. Look, I've said this. If you're going to give money to basketball players and you're going to do it based on revenue sharing, you should give it to guys like, and you may or may not know these names, Bob Knight, Scott May, Johnny Orr, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Judd Heathcote, Tom Izzo. I'm talking about guys that won championships throughout the Big Ten. I'm talking about guys that have put the Big Ten in basketball on the mount to where CBS, Fox, ESPN, everybody at one point had a piece of the network, to the point where the Big Ten Network is actually a huge money-making deal. Woody Hayes, football. Archie Griffin, football. Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy winner. Lloyd Carr, national champ. You get my point. Guys that came before that made the league the best. And these guys have gotten to piggyback off of it and, down the road, add to it. But right now, there is not one basketball player, not one football player in the Big Ten that has had anything to do with the TV deal of your team. None. Zero. Ticket sales, sure. Jersey sales, yeah, they've raised $50,000 because they sold jerseys of J.J. McCarthy. Great. Who cares? That's like piss in a drop. This is what I like Reggie Bush to do. I love this. Reggie Bush, Heisman Trophy winner 05, is suing the NCAA, his school, Pac-12, to recoup money made on his name, image, and likeness during his career from 2003 to 2005, with his attorney saying Bush should be paid to address and rectify ongoing injustices stemming from the exploitation of his name. I feel the same way about me. The Big Ten Network has made a living off of me, the Michael Jordan game, my interviews, Hoffarver hitting a shot. I'm not saying I deserve a lot of money. $150 would do. But I totally agree with this. Case is not just about seeking justice for Reggie Bush, Evan Selleck, one of Bush's attorneys, said. It's about setting a precedent for the fair treatment of all college athletes. Our goal is to rectify this injustice. Yeah! And pave the way for a system where athletes are rightfully recognized, compensated, and treated fairly for their contributions. Yeah! It's a bunch of bullshit. But I would sign up for the lawsuit just because. I would. I'd sign up just for, hey, look, I don't know, see what happens. Because I have said this forever, and people are just now understanding it. I had this guy, Michael Jordan. He was a center for Ohio State. His daddy was going at me on Twitter because I said, look, I feel like I got payment in college. I got a scholarship. I didn't have to work at Scott Ladd Foods in a factory like my brother did to pay. And I got to play basketball on the biggest stage in college basketball in Indiana. I felt that was payment. I didn't say it was enough. I didn't say it shouldn't be more. I didn't say current athletes shouldn't be. Michael Jordan's daddy, I think Jordan is in the NFL. Hey, they're making money on the backs of my son. I said, they're not making a dime off the backs of your son. Maybe 5 people in your family bought a jersey. Those deals are signed way before. Of course, his dumbass couldn't understand it because 99% of people in this day and age want to be victims and get money from victimization. Not me. I just want to join a lawsuit like that for fun. I wish somebody at IU would do it. I wish somebody would say, wait a second. Indiana's made a lot of money off of the undefeated team. Hell, there's a big banner right there. Indiana's made a lot of money off of Isaiah. I would just join the lawsuit as an ancillary. Yeah, I did drop 23 against Vernon Maxwell. Look him up. Yeah, I did kick Michael Jordan's ass. Yeah, I was a 2-time captain. Yeah, Big Ten champ, Elite Eight. But wait, I sit at the little boys' table at Indiana, the little kids' table. But I joined that lawsuit in a second. And I'm not litigious. I'm not. People say all the time you should sue. I'm not suing. I don't need to hassle. I just want to play golf, take a good dump, hang out with my wife, and live a nice life. Bush continues to pursue a separate lawsuit against the NCAA for defamation, which he filed last year regarding the organization's 2021 characterization of what led to Bush having to forfeit his Heisman in 2010. USC was slapped with sanctions that year, which were partly due to Bush having dealings with sports marketers, which at the time of him playing was against the NCAA rules. What did I just say? What did I just say? I just said everybody wants to be a victim and make money off of it. This is the greatest sports show ever. Gary, Aaron, I don't know what to tell you, but you're getting a damn steal with me doing this show. Because this is absolute gold I give the world every day. This show needs to be on Fox FS1, everything. Because you're not getting this anywhere else. What are we going to do? Have 2 idiot former football players talk about, hey, man, I think Caleb Williams thrown the ball. I'm giving you gold here. Man, I should retire This is so good. Anyway, I told you, victimization and money. Reggie Bush, of all people, who has lived the charmed life, cheated his ass off in college to the point where USC went on sanctions and the coach had to leave, is now a victim. America's the greatest country ever. I mean, and I do this without a teleprompter, too, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. This is the greatest country in the world. Tel Aviv's worried about bombs falling on it. Reggie Bush here in the United States cheated his ass off, got caught, but somehow he's a victim and needs more money. Man, what a world we live in. I love Mike Tirico, although I'm getting a little pissed off at him because he didn't call me back yesterday. He is a legend. He is the man. He says having Taylor Swift at NFL games has been great, but showing her during the broadcast shouldn't take away from the game. Boy, is he right. Mike, I worked with Mike. I love Mike, although I'm a little pissed off at him right now. I think Taylor has been at every Chiefs game we've done since this whole Travis and Taylor thing went public. So we've seen it. America's seen it. If she's there, she'll certainly create a little bit of buzz. The key is kind of show her there, but it's not anything brand new, so it doesn't get in the way of the game. If you know Mike, Mike is a pro, man. Mike goes into the truck, memorizes the commercials. He's unbelievable. Mike's only request to me when we worked together was not to get him fired. But that's all right. A couple of shots of her in the stands, a key proper moment, has become kind of part of the norm when covering the Chiefs because she's as big a star as there is in the global entertainment world, so it makes sense. Then you just kind of go back to the play. Should never take away from football. I think all the games we've covered, it hasn't taken away from anything in terms of showing replays and explaining what's going on in the field. I agree with Mike. I agree totally with Mike. Show her. I think it adds to it. I do. I think it adds to it. That's great. People, for whatever the reason, love to see stars. I mean, when I go to a game, it's paparazzi, green light, bright lights, and, of course, I'm on the Jumbotron. I don't like the way I look, though. I think I'm going to get, hey, Gary, Aaron, would you guys pay for plastic surgery? Seriously. Implants in the hair? I don't know. Anyway, this is unbelievable. Here is why I'm the best you'll ever see when it comes to issues. I may not be the best looking. I may not be the best entertainer. I screw up words, that kind of stuff, but whatever. I tell you things before they happen. I tell you things, what is going to happen before they happen. And it happened last night. I said, at what point do colleges protect the sport? At what point do colleges protect the university? Everybody laughed at me. We got to kiss the ass of 18 to 23-year-olds. No, you don't. No. See, colleges don't understand that kids, players, need them. You want to not use a college? Go play in a sandlot. See how many people show up for a game. But they've never understood that. It's like my school, Indiana University. Indiana University hired Archie Miller from Dayton. Gave him like $3 million. My thing was, I'll give you a 10% raise from being at Dayton, and you get to coach at Indiana in the Big Ten on the biggest stage, or tell you what, stay at Dayton. You got to know what you got. Colleges in the United States are the biggest and best and most beautiful. They're crazy good. Okay, maybe not like Oxford beautiful, but you get my point. But colleges and college football doesn't understand what they got. They're worried about 18 to 23-year-olds instead of worrying about the sport. And here's the first real crack. UNLV's 3-0. UNLV is off to one of those starts where you can non-Power 5 get into the playoff this year. But last night, according to reports in his own Instagram and Twitter, new UNLV quarterback Matt Sluka is using his red shirt. After starting 3-0, he claims, listen to this, he committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were being made, money, which were not upheld after I enrolled, while others are claiming the quarterback has been offered more money to play elsewhere next season, thus spurring him to use his red shirt to maintain his eligibility. Here's the deal. This kid transfers in. And he is promised money. Maybe it doesn't come, but here's the other side of it that I just read. Don't know which is true, just going to throw it out there. Matt Sluka apparently has had a nice year. This is his little bullshit here. All right? He wants more money. His family, after a 3-0 start, allegedly, got an agent. And in going to get an agent, they demanded more money. They demanded more. I don't know if they got it. Must not have. He's not playing. This is the worst thing you can have in college football. And this is what I've talked about protecting the sport. You have perpetual free agency. You have open borders. You have anybody can leave at any time and go to any school for any amount of money, and it's all legal. Imagine if the NFL said every year, hey, Patrick Mahomes, you're a free agent. Imagine if they did that. Nobody listened to me when I said you got to protect the sport. You think this is good for the sport? You know, if you read Chaos, Armin Contain's book, you realize that the clown family, that is the Tagovailoas, after the bad Tagovailoa decided he wasn't going to play in the bowl game unless he got an extra $100K or whatever, he was holding the school hostage. How's that good for the sport? How's that good for the school? Donors want to give money to enhance the school. They don't want to give money to see Trey Galloway of Indiana partying his ass off in Naples. They don't want to give money for that. Donor fatigue is real. But you're not protecting the sport. When this guy quits on the team, they say he's been offered more money by another school in the middle of his season. Or, as one report, a guy with Rivals who's connected in college football said, he saw his value go up. He hired an agent, demanded more money. The school said, we don't have any more money, and he quit. So now he's going to use his redshirt year, which means he's going to go somewhere else, get big money, and the school that's going to take him is going to trust this guy to lead their football program, which, oh, by the way, if a school is paying that much money, that means the school's football program is basically the front door to the university. And somehow this is good for the sport. Now, people are going to tell, man, players got to be paid. Okay, great, fine, but not at the expense of the school. Not at the expense of the sport. And this is what dummies don't understand. They don't understand two things. One, these players aren't making the school jack shit. Now, this kid could have. If UNLV continues on this path, place would have been sold out. But that's just playing football at a school. Because a place gets sold out, we got to renegotiate a contract with a kid in the middle of the season because a team is 3-0. We got to renegotiate a non-contract because there are no contracts, an agreement in the middle of the season. You're going to let an 18-year-old, 22-year-old kid hold an entire billion-dollar university hostage? Name me another industry. Name me one. People say the pop star industry. Really? Hell, Taylor Swift leaves tomorrow. There are 10 people ready to fill her shoes. You've seen what the media can do and elevate with Kamala Harris. They certainly can do it with a freaking woman with a fake rack, skimpy clothes, and a voice that we could turn some knobs and make sound good. College football is the only place where this bullshit happens. And people like Jay Billis and everybody else that never were in the trenches on this, or if they were in Billis's case, it was the early 90s, and all these other guys that speak so eloquently about how important it is that 18 to 23-year-olds get money. Now you're seeing what I've been bitching about. And this is just the first one that has been public about it. This has been happening inside programs. I think Mike Loxley was the worst hire in the history of football at New Mexico. Look it up. And my friend hired him, and when he hired him, I told him. But Mike Locksley, whatever he did, he went to Saban, got the sign of the cross and all that. And he's getting screwed on the daily at the University of Maryland by players he's put his heart and soul into, his staff has, because of what? Money. We're teaching these money-grubbing little punk-ass mediocre football players to hold a university hostage, a sport hostage. Think about it. UNLV is in a position to be one of the, if not the leader, for the non-Power 5 team to get in the playoff. Non-Power 4, excuse me. And this dude quits. Hurts the sport. It's ridiculous. And spin it all you want. You'll see the same idiots on the same TV saying the same stupid shit about, well, players have leverage. We need play. No, we don't. 18 to 23-year-olds should not have leverage against an entire billion-dollar sport or a billion-dollar school, ever. But here we are, because we're flat out stupid. I mean stupid. I got to go potty. It's giving me gas. I got to go potty. I'll be right back. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how I tell you every day what's going to happen. That's why I don't have Overreaction Mondays, because I'm going to tell you what's happening.